If you're planning to retire using the traditional 4% rule, you're walking into a trap that could destroy even a $2 million portfolio. I've seen it happen. Clients who did everything right, according to conventional wisdom, only to watch their retirement income get cut in half when the market crashed at the wrong time. The wealthiest retirees I work with don't just save the money, they architect it using a strategy that actually makes market crashes irrelevant. It protects against sequence risk, provides reliable income, and allows for continued growth. Most importantly, it lets you sleep soundly knowing your income is secure regardless of what the market does. I'm Bob Wolfe, certified financial planner and IRS enrolled agent. I spent nearly a decade working with everyone from Fortune 500 CEOs to high-earning professionals just starting out. And today, I'm bringing you the same strategies I use with my ultra high net worth clients. An important disclaimer here, this content is strictly educational and should not be interpreted as specific financial advice. Everyone's situation is different, so please consult with a qualified professional before implementing any strategies. So what do my wealthiest clients do differently? They use what I call the 3-bucket strategy. Let me walk you through this with a real world scenario. I'm working with a client, we'll call her Sarah. She has $2.5 million saved. She received $50,000 annually for Social Security and needs $120,000 per year for her lifestyle. This means she needs to generate $70,000 annually from her portfolio. Here's how we structure it. Bucket number 1. This is your safety and liquidity bucket. This is a fancy way of saying it's dry powder, it's there when you need it without there being a lot of risk being taken. This holds 1 to 2 years of her spending needs in cash and cash equivalents. For Sarah, that's $140,000, 2 years of the $70,000 that she needs. Anywhere between 2 and 4 to 6 months worth of investments or cash will be held in something like your checking account, pretty much collecting dust. The complement of that, or the remainder, should be held in a high yield savings account, anywhere between 3 and 4% at the time of this video recording, to help to keep up with the eroding impacts of inflation, chipping away at all of the assets that we have. Bucket number 2, this is our stability and our income bucket. Bucket 2 covers anywhere between 3 and 7 years of spending. This is our retirement war chest of safe funds. For Sarah, this is about $350,000. So instead of cash, this bucket contains higher quality, investment grade, high quality bonds that mature somewhere over the next 5 years and should be maintaining their purchasing power and still keeping up with inflation. In today's environment, these bonds might yield somewhere around 2 to 3% on the low end. That might generate somewhere around $9,000 of interest annually that directly can flow into and replenish bucket 1. But more importantly, this 7-year time frame gives you a crucial buffer, enough time to ride out the average market cycle without being forced to sell stocks when they're down. Bucket number 3, growth and long-term wealth. This is invested in a globally diversified basket of stocks through exchange traded funds or mutual funds to make sure that we are spreading our eggs out in baskets that will not be placing large bets on any individual geography or size of company. Within this portfolio, there may be roughly a 2% dividend yield on the stocks. And so in bucket 3, 2% on your $2 million portfolio will generate somewhere around $40,000 annually in dividend income alone without ever touching the principal. So let's do the math. $9,000 from bucket number 2 plus $40,000 from bucket number 3 gets us to $49,000, which will require a little bit more of income to be coming of another $21,000 from Sarah's portfolio to be sold and then distributed for our needs on a regular basis. The beauty of this is that we can determine if and when we would like to sell certain types of investments, which will not always have the same type of tax associated with them. This is a very nuanced way of making sure that we're not just focusing on all investments that give us the most amount of income, but also give us a total return that will be needed for us to supplement and pay for our retirement needs. So here's how the 3 buckets work together as a complete system. Step 1, you withdraw your monthly income from bucket number 1. Step 2, bucket number 1 gets continuously replenished from interest from bucket number 2 and dividends from bucket 3. Third step here is when markets are performing well or you need a little bit of supplemental income, you strategically sell some assets from bucket 3 to refill buckets 1 and 2. When markets are down, you can wait it out because you have over 7 years of expenses already secured in a safe war chest of funds. This completely changes your relationship with market volatility. Instead of panicking during crashes, you can actually view them as buying opportunities because your immediate needs are covered. I've seen this transformation firsthand. I've had clients who went through checking their portfolios daily and losing sleep over every market movement and flashing red headline that they saw on the news to barely looking at them quarterly. When you know exactly where your next 7 years of income is coming from, market fluctuations become background noise so that you can focus on what matters most. So how do you actually set this up? Here's my step-by-step process. Step number 1, calculate your annual income gap. This is taking your total expenses minus your guaranteed income sources, be it Social Security, pensions, or annuity income. Step number 2, fund bucket number 1. This is putting somewhere around 2 to 6 months worth of expenses into a checking account and then the complement anywhere between 6 and another year and a half worth of expenses in a high yield savings account for a total of 1 to 2 years of safe, dry powder that's not at any sort of risk. Step number 3, build up bucket number 2. With somewhere around 5 years of expenses in a safe bond that may be yielding anywhere between 2 to 3% of income. Step number 4, optimize bucket number 3. The remainder is invested in a focused growth portfolio that's diversified across many different geographies and size and types of companies. The last step here is set up the system flow. Try to have automatic transfers to maintain the buckets. Here's what I tell all my clients. This isn't a set it and forget it system. You'll have different income needs every single year, and you'll need to rebalance periodically and adjust as your needs change. But the framework remains consistent. Let's address some common objections here. Let me tackle the questions that I get about this strategy. Number 1, isn't that too much in cash and bonds? Now, when you consider the alternative, I'd rather my clients miss out on some growth than be forced to sell stocks at 40% loss during market crash and have the peace of mind and protection against the sequence risk that far outweighs the opportunity cost of trying to get the most over time. Another question is, what about inflation? And this is exactly why bucket 3 is so important. Stocks have the ability to pass on higher costs of goods, higher costs of living onto their customers and clients. As a stockholder, you hold a small portion of that pie. And so what this allows you to do is help to weather more of the changes of costs of goods and keep up with inflation over time, far more than the ability to have any sort of cash or bond instruments do so. What if I live longer than expected? Bucket number 3 is explicitly designed to help hedge off any sort of additional income needs if you were to be living longer than expected, have some more sort of long-term care expenses, or just want to be giving more and have that much more of a legacy to your heirs. After working with hundreds of clients, I can tell you that the 3 bucket strategy isn't just about financial security. It's about giving you the freedom and peace of mind to actually enjoy retirement without constantly worrying about money. If this framework makes sense to you, hit that like button and subscribe to Wolfe on Wealth for more strategies that can change how you think about money. And drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about your retirement planning challenges and how this approach might work for your situation. Until next time, this is Bob Wolfe reminding you that with the right strategy, financial freedom isn't just possible, it's inevitable.